Live. Hi, everybody. Matt here from Matt Likes Comics. And tonight we've got a special guest, someone that I'm sure most of you out there already know, but I'm going to take a minute to introduce him anyway. Tonight we have the man himself from Lunch Money Comics, one of the oldest channels on YouTube, which is odd, as we say, because you haven't been that long per se, but you are still one of the oldest ones out there. Mike from Lunch Money Comics. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Thanks for having me, Matt. Great to be here.
I've been wanting to have you on for a while. I will admit I was a little shy about contacting you because, unlike everybody else, I haven't had the chance to meet you at a con or a trip to Portland or something to that effect. So, although I had Nate and Hagen putting a bug in him, just ask him. He'll say yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, we have a lot of friends in common, so it's not that unusual. I've seen you a million times.
Actually, Hagen did get up to Canada this summer, and he came visit us in Ottawa.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. I got to sign the same book that the rest of you got. I'll sign his.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I got to get up there and visit you and Alan at some point. It's on my list.
That would be really cool. That would be awesome. So the first question most people would ask is, how did you start? We're not going to go there because many people have asked you that. If anybody out there has seen you or your channel, you've got the idea. I mean, your whole channel's named after how you did it.
Yeah.
So my first question is going to be, at what point when you became older, because this is a big deal. A lot of people start as kids, stop and come back. Did you ever stop? And if so, what was your kick back into comics?
So I've also been asked this, and I've thought about it. I don't think I've ever gone a year where I didn't collect comic books since I was 11 or something like that. It's never really happened, but I did slow down, especially when I went to college. You would think, hey, college, I should be reading a lot of comic books. Nah, I was busy, it was really busy during college. And so it waxed and waned. There were years where I'd only get a couple, or I'd be into one storyline. It would pick back up. Like after college, I started getting back into X-Men books again. I started getting a pull list, and I went crazy. That was sort of the tail end. Same thing, started to peel off a little bit. But I guess that's the short answer is no, I never really stopped. The difference is, Lunch Money Comics, it was always cheap stuff. It was comic books that I like to read. I was never really into the big key issues and stuff. I guess part of the origin story is I was watching these, YouTube channels when collectibles really started to skyrocket during the shutdown and stuff. And I was like, wait a minute. First of all, these books, I find these books at flea markets. You can find this stuff anywhere, especially where I live. I'm very blessed to live in an area, antique shops, flea markets, everywhere, right? Comic shops, every town. So I see this stuff all over the place. So that was sort of the impetus for me to, let's see if I can push this to the extreme. Let's see how much I can find. And it was part of going back through my old collectibles. I was selling some collectibles, some old Star Wars cards and figures and stuff like that. Comic books were going nowhere. I said, hey, I have an opportunity now. I have some cash in my pocket. I'm going to get some of the bigger books I never had as a kid, and I'll start filling that in and also see if I can find stuff at flea markets. And that kind of gave me the idea. I was doing so well at it. I was like, hey, I wonder if people would like to see this, that you can find comic books anywhere on a budget, even really good stuff. And there you go, off to the races. And then that happened. So, so I never, ever stopped collecting, but it definitely ramped up in the shutdown. I started getting the bigger books that I'd never. Not only did I thought I'd never own them, I didn't necessarily need to have them. I was pretty happy with reading the comic books I had as a kid, and
I'm a big reader. I am proud to say that other than this pile right here, because this is my recently acquired, I have read everything I own.
Hey, wow.
And it takes time.
Oh yeah.
But I used to, as I said to Alan once, I try to read 5 a day minimum,
right? Just
to take that 20-minute break from the rest of the world and just do that sort of thing. And I find that if you do that, you can actually get through them.
Oh, definitely. When I do find time, which isn't, again, with the kids, my son now just doesn't sleep. So when I finally have that time at night to do whatever I have for my own self, whether it's editing or whatever, I'll sit down to read, only to have him in 2 seconds. Hey, Dad, so I don't have much peace and quiet unless it's late at night. But once if I ever do get that window, especially like a trade paperback, yeah, man, 6 issues of a comic that I'm going to read it all in one night. That's what's great about it. And it's very satisfying to get it, get a whole storyline or half a storyline. Yeah.
Okay, let's take a moment now and say hi to everybody who's shown up tonight so far. Second Floor Comics is first. Hello. And we've got Kay Munin and Andreas. Welcome to the show. And Rob Saint is here. Hi, Rob. And Jason, Archivist Drift, is here. Jason is similar to your friend Jeff. He's a very good archivist.
Nice.
He says, I don't care what you say. So really, he did an interesting series recently where he did a Golden Age book where literally the pages were apart and he managed to put them together, and he's done a really good job. His content is, I really enjoyed it. He was on my show a few weeks ago. And we've got Just Michael. Hi, Michael. And Mike Dennis is here. Hi, Mike. By the way, you ever notice, Mike, that there's a lot of Mikes on comic book channels?
You have no idea. In all my childhood friends were all named Mike. All like there's like 5 of us. We're still friends, and we know which Mike we're talking about. Just saying Mike. It's a weird thing. We know. Just the timbre of your voice.
I swear, half the guys born in 1971 were named Matthew or David.
There you go. And I'm an 80s kid. A lot of Michaels in the early 80s. So yeah.
So Stepo's here. Hi, Steven.
Hi, Steve.
Let's see. John Harrison is here. Hi, John. John is a member of the channel, so it's good to see that he made it. And Nate is here. Hi, Nate. Yeah, smaller
Nate,
channels
nice.
like Mike.
It is small. The grand scheme of things, guys. Come on. It's a small niche hobby we have.
We've got Celia from Gotham and Glam here. Hi, Celia. How's I hope Luke's with you.
Hey.
Lyle from all the way out in British Columbia. Good to see you. And local legend Lau Tor is here. Good to see you too, Lau. All right. So now that we've gone through, here is a question that I've always had, especially when you start showing other things that you've bought from the flea markets and stuff. Mm-hmm. What interest? Because I see you're interested in a lot of things, your books, your music, interesting curio statues or whatever, the old tobacco type signs, the metal signs and stuff. I'm curious to what is first and foremost, like if you have only $100 to spend, what are you spending it on at a flea market?
Well, because of Lunch Money Comics, because I always need to have some sort of footage, it's the comic books have taken precedence in the last couple of years simply because I know people like seeing it. They enjoy it, and I like to show people what they want to see. So it's fun. But, when I go to those and you see a video that I do, I buy a lot more stuff. Like, you just don't see the other stuff I bought. I have other stuff tossed in my backpack.
I figured so. That's why I asked. By the way, anybody in the crowd, if you're watching tonight, if you have a question for Mike, just shoot it off into the comments and we'll pass it on.
Yeah. So but that's a tough thing because I have so many things I'm into. My wife's also a big collector of antiques, and I feel like a lot of times when I'm there, I'm looking for stuff for her. She's usually busy. I go on different days. We usually go different times to the big flea markets because we have a crazy schedule with 2 kids. So I'm always like filming stuff and taking pictures for her. Like, hey, are you interested in this? This look good in the kitchen or whatever, stuff like that. She just likes to see it. There's a lot of that. A lot of the stuff I collected in the past, like I just don't collect as much anymore. Simply because I've started to kind of rethink a lot of the stuff that I collect. I think I mentioned this to Stepo and Alan separately. Whereas a lot of the stuff I collect, I don't know. It's like an old museum, and I've been hyper aware lately that museums get a lot of scrutiny nowadays because it's essentially full of stuff stolen from somewhere else in a lot of places. So there's a lot of things I collect which are strange, and I worry about the provenance of them. A little bit of goody two shoes in me, I suppose. But so things like antiquities and stuff, which I used to be really into, pre-Columbian artifacts, I'm just not too anymore. I do like war stuff. I do like things from especially World War II and World War I. I find them fascinating. I'm big into fossils, gems, minerals, you name it. So, I'm always looking out for any of those things. And again, in antique furniture, stuff like that would look cool, like in the house, in the nerd room and stuff like that. So that's usually what I'm looking for when I don't have my other eye looking for comic books the whole time. So yeah, mostly comic books still, but there's always a soft place in my heart for all the oddities out there. Yeah. Odd things is probably the best answer. I like strange things, quack medical devices, odd antiques, things that
saying that before.
Yeah, like strange science and history things, markers in history. I think seeing people's, the pitfalls that human beings have made along the way, lapse in knowledge or critical thinking it helps define sort of like, modern times and, getting things right. So I like those lessons of the past, and the weird, unusual stuff is the best way to kind of capture that. So yeah, that's probably the thing I look up for the most.
We've had 3 people submit questions, so let's get to the first one here from K Munin. Oh, yeah. Mike, what is your favorite Marvel Toy Biz figure? I see them behind you.
I mean, it's the Nightcrawler one, because it's Nightcrawler's my favorite character. If I had a second place, it'd be the Gambit one. I don't know why. He's just goofy looking, and he's got his little plastic trench coat. And there's something that happens with those old plastics, like when they're in there, they start to like melt. Not melt. Like they almost like exude like a grease. So like that Gambit looks like he's like wearing a slicker. It's like a raincoat. It's just kind of hokey and goofy, but like, no, it's got to be the Nightcrawler with the bendy tail.
I remember the first time I saw Gambit, I thought he was a wacky little character. I've never been really into the X-Men, but I had caught an episode of the TV show that he was on, so I ended up buying a comic book where he was on the cover just to check him out. I thought he was pretty interesting. Yeah. The next question comes from Nate at Holyak. Question for Mike. Has Mike or Matt thought about doing a video that highlights your interests outside of comic books? Mike's room tour was really cool.
Yeah. So I mean, that room tour was sort of like the olive branch, because people have been asking me about it. I always, in the videos I've mentioned several times that I'm into other stuff, and people were just like, you got to show it. That was sort of my, like, here we go. You can check it out now. I didn't show everything. Honestly, I have a lot of stuff, and there was some stuff I kind of hid because I didn't want to show it or talk about it or explain it. But yeah, I mean, I've thought about it. Like, I've kind of joked, like, I think my channel's sort of like, this is it. Like, it's not really going anywhere. I do the same thing all the time. But if I was to ever change it, I would show more of the stuff I find interesting at flea markets and stuff. I could expand in that way if I just had the time and the energy to do it, which I don't. But no, I mean, I just like to sprinkle in things here and there. Like, I'll show some stuff off if I think it's funny or kind of cool to show. But no, it's not really something I've thought of too much about. I could, I guess, someday. Who knows?
And my quick answer to you, Nate, is the 3 things that I'm interested in outside of comic books, which are coins, rock music, and the NFL football. Like, there are tons of channels devoted to that football and music. I wouldn't even begin to want to get into that, because it's just, to me, it'd be more the same. And as for the coins, I don't have the I'm more of a Canadian coin collector, and that's a very narrow, limited subset of people. So I'd be lucky to get 50 people to subscribe to a channel like that.
I have a pile of silver Canadian coins right next to me.
Oh, very cool. Put them up. Let's see what you got.
I got it. Hold on.
Make it big.
I'm kind of a silver and gold bug. I'm really, again, going to flea markets and stuff.
I love the silver book. Okay, so let's
so I dig stuff out all the time. Oh, we're gonna do this. Here we go. There you go, Nate. You're getting your wish. So what do we have? We have a quarter, although I can't read the year. I don't have my
who's the monarch on the back?
It's Elizabeth, and you get the elk on the back, but it is silver.
Okay. Also, it's probably 65 to 68.
Yeah, there you go. And then I got 3 dimes. You got the younger Elizabeth on 2 of them. These ones,
so those would be 53 to 64.
They are both 162, 164.
Yeah, awesome.
And then I have one, although now I'm questioning if this is silver. Oh, 68.
68 was the last year we had silver coins in Canada.
Yeah, so there you go. Because I'm a silver bug, I find this stuff like all over the place. I'm always
that is cool, because if you found that in change, you found more than I have in the years.
Oh, really? I got. Sadly, a great aunt passed away, and I got her giant piggy bank, and I found so much stuff in there, but that's right.
Very cool.
Awesome.
The next question is from Steven. Steven is asking, what 3 books are at the top of your need to get list?
Oh, Steppo, come on.
I mean, I saw the video where you switched your X-Men 1 out, or sorry, recently, and I knew that was one of yours too. But
Giant Size X-Men. I mean, number 1 is probably Foom 10, which is we're talking big book. That's the first preview appearance of the Giant Size X-Men. That's probably at the top of my list for a big book, I would say. I have a lot of smaller ones. Like I have a video coming out on Friday, a little bonus upload. I want like first Big Barda. Like I just want Miracle Man number 4. Like I wouldn't say this like I need to get, but like that's just on my mind right now. So there's a lot of little stuff like that. But if we're just talking big stuff, yeah, I mean, Foom 10 is probably it. I've had a pretty good year in filling in those gaps, and I'm happy and content to get dollar books at flea markets for the rest of the year. But maybe next year we'll put our sights on one of those. Yeah.
Very cool. Next question we have is from Archivist Adrift. Do you ever get to the point where you feel like your channel's become an obligation and isn't as fun anymore? Or are you still as passionate as you were when you first started?
That is such a tough question to answer, because I think it can be both. This is like a Schrodinger's cat kind of thing. I can be tired of it and still love it at the same time. I think me being tired, I do feel like it's an obligation often, but it's mostly because I'm just strapped for time. If I had more time, I would do more videos if I could. I made the decision early on to just do one a week in general because I didn't want to get burnt out. And that ended up being a very wise decision because if I was trying to do more than one, I would have stopped doing this a long time ago. So every week I say, oh, this is the week I'm going to skip a video. And every week I find a way to make a video because the truth is no matter how tired I am, there's enough love of it. When I start editing that video and start putting it together, I get that little adrenaline rush. It's not just the talking about comic books and being passionate. It's creating a video. It's a creative outlet. Once I start editing, it's just the idea of making something that I know people will enjoy. So like it just makes me feel good. It's almost like my happy place. That work that even though it's a grind sometimes, there's something so satisfying about it that I kind of need to keep me going. So yeah, I am tired. And someday I'll wake up and be like, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to take some time off. But the truth is, yeah, you can be tired of something and have it feel like an obligation and still feel darn satisfied when you're doing it. And I do. I still have a love of it, and it hasn't completely worn off yet. But I am tired. Don't get me wrong. It's hard. With multiple jobs. I have jobs and family. I mean, we have so much going on. It's a miracle.
How much? Well, I would imagine you've got the show you want to do once a week. Just from what I've seen in your videos, you go traveling all weekend off to this show or that show or whatever. You've got your church music.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're a church goer necessarily, but I would assume that if you are, there's Sunday mornings, and then of course you've got your job, your main job, right? And there's Monday to Friday. Plus, and I can completely agree, parenting is another full-time job, especially when your kids' age and my kids' age are reasonably similar. So I get the idea how that is. So.
Yeah, it's a lot. I don't know. I honestly don't know how I manage it. But
I'm very. That's another thing that impresses me about you, how you time manage very well.
I ask my wife that same question. You'll get a different answer than what I just told you. I don't stop is the thing. I never ever stop. I'm one of those people. Like I'll sleep when I'm dead. I barely sleep. I never stop. I should probably stop and smell the roses, but I'm one of those people. I get restless if I'm not doing something. So I fill every brief moment I have with more stuff. I think it's the problem. It's probably a disease. There's probably something wrong with me. So yeah, I it's a lot, but I like it. I like doing a lot. I like it.
Our next question comes from Lau here in Ottawa. Are there any signatures left that you need for your Heroes for Hope comic?
Yes, there's a lot.
I would assume that obviously the ones who have moved on would be.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot I can't get. There's a ton of people and kind of macabre, but I have my cheat sheet. You guys can't see it. By the way, I'm hyper aware now, Matt, how bad my web camera is compared to yours. I got to work on that. I marked them in red, the ones who have unfortunately passed. There's a lot of people I just can't get. On top of that, there's some people here that just are. There you go. There's some people on this list that do not sign things. They don't go out. Like Alan Moore. That would be great. He just doesn't do it. Other people are very difficult. Frank Miller.
There's a story about Alan Moore, why he won't do conventions anymore.
Right.
His last straw was when literally he went to the bathroom and the guy tried to stop him from closing the toilet door for a question asked. And he said, that's it. I'm done.
I don't blame him. I get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it. So he's one that I just know I'm never going to get. Stephen King just doesn't do signings anymore. He's too old. I'd love to get him. He's not even that far away from me.
He's only in Bangor.
He's not even that far. I know, but and then there's other people what the one kills me is George R.R. Martin worked on this book, right? And I met George R.R. Martin I think 3 times because I was a big Game of Thrones fan before the show and stuff. So I would meet him and there'd be no one there. I met him in Harvard. There was 10 people there, and we got to hang out with him. And then the movie came out, and he became, the show, and he became super popular. And then he's behind writing the book. He doesn't go out very often, at least in my area. So like that one kills me because like I have his signature on books. I want this book signed. So that one drives me bonkers.
My understanding is that George R.R. Martin goes out once a year to a book festival and will sign things there.
And if I
don't know where it is though. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So other than that, I mean, Bill Sienkiewicz is on my list. I'd love to meet him in general. Bill Sienkiewicz, he hasn't come out the East in a while. Mike Kaluta's on the list. I'd really like. So that's the thing. There's a lot of people that I want to sign this book, but the ones that are even still with us, some of them just don't do shows. So, oh well.
He is getting the ones you can. To me, that is To me, that is a really cool thing that you're doing. That is an interesting way to collect. I mean, I just got Jim Starlin. I just met him in Montreal myself.
Nice.
And, he's one of the guys I wanted to meet for years because I thought his work was interesting. And that was fun. That was fun. I got to see him in a panel and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Next question is from Madam. What does your last meal consist of? Question. If you had to eat one comic book, which one would you choose? Madam asks interesting questions.
She does. That's great questions. So I just had, my wife made a fantastic, what we call it, I think it's a jambalaya. She makes a lot of really good, like New Orleans dishes. So that's what we had. Nice little spicy kind of thing on a cold night. So that was good. If I had to eat one comic book, it'd probably be Ice Cream Man. Makes sense.
Very cool. I have a feeling if Kay Munin is still out there, that there'd be a Lois Lane book just so you get rid of it, or a Ferret book. Okay. Let's see here. So the next one is from Celia, Gotham and Glam. What is your favorite dollar bin find?
Wow. Like actual true dollar. Because I mean, I've told the story. I've got a really rare Archie for $5. Like
that's my favorite story.
That was
the first time. The second time I hung out with Alan, he told me the whole story, and that was really cool.
And there was a lot of Alan in that story, because like when I got all that stuff, he was the first person I contacted. I was like, Alan, we jumped on a call right down here, and we went through the whole thing. And he told me, you got something special there. So that was probably the coolest, just like crazy find. Similar things to that, like I found a really neat. I might have talked about it in a very early video. I was at a yard sale. And a guy had lots of collectible, like Funko Pop stuff. And, when you see comic-related stuff but not comics, it's worth asking, hey, do you have any comics? He's like, no, but I have something interesting you might like. And he had some old gas, like Petroliana brochures from the 40s. Didn't think much of it. He's like, hey, but look at this. And one of them had Superman on it. And it was like Superman from like 1940. Like this is early Superman throughout this gasoline brochure about how good their new gasoline is. And I bought all of them from him for like nothing. It was like $10 for a whole bunch of them. But that ended up being something very, very, very rare. And it, scratched the itch of people who love that old gas stuff and early Superman. Very, very cool. So that was one of the most interesting. Again, for a history lover like me, that was right down. That was right in the lane of what I love. So that was up there. And it was unexpected. It was one of those like, I don't know what this is, but I'm going to buy it. And ended up being pretty special. So that was cool.
That's very cool. We got another question here from Second Floor Comics. You often trade for other better books. How do you decide what book to trade away?
Oh, it's really, really hard. So the issue is like, I usually only buy stuff like I like, like I'm not going to just get stuff for the sake of it. I don't resell stuff. So I only get books I want. So it's really hard to trade away a book that you got because you want it. So often it's because I find a better copy of the book, an upgrade, and then the old one goes in the trade box, right?
Right.
So that's the easiest answer to that for like the better stuff. Sometimes it's quite as simple. Like I get a book, I really like it, I read it, it's great. I'm like, I don't need to have it in my collection. I'm out of room in that box. That box that was holding my Fantastic Four. I can't fit another book. This one I can put in the box. So it's sort of like that. And so I have really one short box behind me of like trade stuff that's like better stuff. And it's stuff that, it's either a duplicate I already have or it's something I outgrew, but the problem is if it's a book I like, even if I wanted to get rid of it, I'm really bad at it. It's really tough. And I just did a video this week of trading the second copy of my favorite book ever. And that was hard for me, but when I got it, it was absolutely worth it. Maybe I should trade things more.
That picture of you guys as the Incredibles was absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
That was really, really, really good. And for those that don't know what I'm talking about, go watch his video from this week.
We'll do that. I have it right here, but we can go watch the video.
Well, you can show it here if you like, but I thought it was really cool.
Well, if you want to hear the whole story, go watch the video. But I met a comic artist who lives here in Massachusetts who does amazing work. And he saw he was doing a commission for another family. I said, hey, as part of this trade, will you do a commission of my family as the Incredibles? And he said, sure. 2 months later, we got this. And you see, I mean, you don't know what my wife and kids look like, but they look exactly like this. He did a really good job and even put our rabbit.
You will know what your wife and kids look like if they watch the video.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, they were in it very, very briefly. Yeah. So, I mean, he outdid himself. And this is the actual work. It's inked. It's nuts. So we're blown away. I mean, it's way, way better than I thought it was going to be, or it's way, bigger. So it might be our Christmas card. But yeah, that was spectacular. So I got that in a trade. Crazy enough.
That is very cool. I mean, I find that like when it comes to duplicates for me, I don't get that many. And when I do, I end up, well, let's bring you up with the
Bible. Oh yeah. So someone mentioned this, Second Floor Comics. Yeah. So our rabbit is named Rorschach after the Watchmen character because he's black and white. And when I mentioned that to the artist John Mills, he just got it stuck in his head. He's like, I got to draw it. So he drew our rabbit as Rorschach, which is like one of the best things ever. Awesome. My kids both want this.
Rorschach is one of my favorite characters of all time.
There you go. Yeah.
It's certainly one of my favorite Alan Moore characters. And it's just,
he's awesome. So that was really fun. And I didn't expect that at all. He just had to get it out of his head.
I like the fact that as a personality, his personality meets his, excuse me, his mask because he's very black and white. So
right, exactly. Yeah.
There is no gray area with Rorschach.
Only Moore knew what he was doing, huh?
Yeah. So no, when it comes to duplicates, I tend to either give them away to hospitals / charitable organizations myself, or I keep some for my giveaways because I keep the ones I think people would like for the giveaways. I'm a big proponent of pushing. Let's get the hobby. Let's get people into it. Yep. So we got another question here from Madam. If you had to choose one superpower, which one would you choose? And why is it invisibility? No, I'm joking.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many easy answers that people say, like immortality. Obviously, that's always a good one. Mind reading or mind control is obviously the most powerful. I'm going to give you an answer here, but it's not tied. It's not because of my favorite character. It would be teleportation, but not like Nightcrawler where you can just teleport overseas. Mine is I love travel. I love traveling all over the world. And the idea that I could just go anywhere at any point in time would be the greatest gift. Especially if I could bring someone with me. Hey, what do you want to do for lunch? Across to the side of the world. Well, it'd be the middle of the night. But you know what I mean? You could go whenever you wanted. Go have breakfast and sit and, stare at the Eiffel Tower. Go to Southeast Asia and get some really good, pad thai. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why being able to move anywhere would be pretty fantastic. So
my wife is like, why aren't you inventing the transporter downstairs for Star Trek?
Right, exactly.
She's a big Trekkie, so she thinks the transporter would be really cool. Hey, let's go to lunch in Paris and then have supper in Calgary and and all that other stuff.
Bleak is right. Eternal Life's good too. I mean, there's a whole curse too. Yeah, so I think about that, but yeah.
Bleak, I would only take Eternal Life if it came with great health, because one of the current storylines about Vandal Savage that people haven't seen necessarily, and I think they may have gotten rid of it because he looks too healthy, was that when he became immortal, he had been stricken with pancreatic cancer. So that cancer also became immortal. He's been in pain for 10,000 years.
Right.
That is something I would not like to have. I'd rather have a healthy body.
Or if you can choose when you're done. If you could choose when you're done, I mean, because everyone would get to a point where they go, okay, everyone I know is gone.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's sad, but I don't want to die before everybody else, in the sense that I don't want them to go through the loss of me.
Yeah.
It's not because I want to necessarily live forever. I know that I've watched 80, 90-year-old people going, I'm done. When's he coming to get me?
Right.
But anyway, here we got one more question so far. Mike, have you ever looked into anime or manga?
So, I mean, anime, there's definitely, especially like my college years and stuff, like I watched a lot of anime with like my roommates and stuff, you know, like Evangeline and stuff. Like I'm familiar with all those, Akira, but in terms of like manga reading, so no, but I have a huge pile of manga behind me. My good friend Ben is massive into manga, and he thinks I should read more of it. So to help me, this is a great idea. He gave me a stack of stuff representing different types of manga, different styles, different different art styles and story styles, and he actually like put like sticky notes in them to like look for certain things, and then in a summary, literally typed and printed on every one. So like I can, it's unbelievable. I haven't had a chance to go through it all, but like that's my homework for this year. Is I'm really going to get into it and try to appreciate it more. So I have the best educational system for it right behind me. I'm pretty excited to dig in. So I'll get more into it.
Yeah, the manga is interesting stuff. And that brings me to my next question. How did you get into international comics?
I don't know, because it's, again, I think it's just the fact that I'm a curious mind. I like everything. I collect everything. I like travel. I like the world. I like other languages. So no, I can't even remember like why I started doing it. I just thought they were interesting and cool. Hey, that's neat. It's a different language. Neat. And then I started getting more, and then no. I look for them, and people send them to me a lot. That's the thing. My collection's gotten bigger because people just hear that I like them, and either they show them to me at a comic show. Vendors will be like, "Hey, look what I got. Are you interested?" Or people just send them to me. So yeah, I can't answer that question. I don't know. I just think they're awesome.
Mm-hmm. I asked that because I live in an area where there are a lot of Quebecois version of books. I mean, well, first of all, I live on the Quebec side, and the Quebec local comic store has almost a full box of like, but the vast majority of the ones they always have are the Archies. So right. I have looked, they don't have too much of the Marvel, certainly don't have the X-Men. Right. Apparently they get them in and they sell like instantly. So
yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah.
Even apparently English collectors collect the X-Men. So I've seen on your show, you and I are similar vein in the sense that I'm a DC guy, you're a Marvel guy, but our favorite stuff from the other company is of the supernatural stuff. What was the first supernatural character that got you interested in DC?
Wow. That's a tough one because, again, like the first one I guess I'd be familiar with would have been Swamp Thing, but the first one that really caught my attention and my love was Dead Man, and it was in turn because of Neil Adams. So that was where the artist came first, then the character, and I'm like, oh, this character's cool. He's still Boston brand, they're Boston names from Boston. Like, it was cool. Like, and he's a really cool design, and that kind of got me going down that. Now, of course, I always knew who Constantine was. I always thought Constantine was cool, but it was Dead Man would be my answer. Dead Man got me into it, and then I was interested again at the time this started happening. The Justice League Dark was a big title. I was like, oh, yeah, I can read about Dead Man and Justice League Dark. Cool. Oh, hey, cool, great. There's some other cool characters in here as well. Like the Spectre I liked as well. Spectre was cool, though he wasn't really in that run. So yeah, it would be Dead Man was my first DC villain, dark character that I really got into.
Yeah, Dead Man is a really good one. I first saw him in one of those DC digests they used to sell in the early 80s. My dad didn't buy those kind of comics. Actually, for the supernatural stuff, I had to start myself. My dad would buy the odd Ghost comic, but right. But in terms of Marvel, I started liking the Scarlet Witch, and Agatha Harkness when I saw her in background stories. But the one that really caught my eye was Son of Satan, and I was so happy to have collected a bunch. I also really like Ghost Rider and that kind of stuff. The Midnight Suns was a very interesting storyline. I've got most of them, and
it's weird. I'm a Marvel guy, and I love all those like Midnight Suns, the darker characters. But I like the DC ones better in that department. I just do. I like the Justice League Dark characters better than the Midnight Suns characters. I mean, I like Ghost Rider. I think it's cool.
Justice League Dark as a team didn't make a debut until 2011 with the new
as officially named, right? The new 52. They were unofficial before that. They'd been Swamp Thing and stuff. But yeah, and that's what I mean. And then they had a couple. I think I saw it in HBO. They actually had like a couple of Justice League Dark like animations, like, and they were good.
Yes.
Like, oh yeah. Cool.
The most interesting character, though, I find from the 1970s was the Phantom Stranger. He came around in the 50s, but the 70s stories, his own series, and then his appearances in Justice League and or like, you know, team books like DC Comics Presents.
Right.
They were always interesting because you always knew, you never quite knew what to expect.
Right.
And then in the New 52, when they made him the modern day incarnation of Judas Iscariot,
I know.
that
Yeah.
made so much sense. And
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
It is.
So we got a couple more questions here. JX wants to know, do you really collect any Golden Age books?
Yeah, I've been getting into it more and more. They're expensive, so it's an expensive hobby. I mean, you know, I don't think you're going to see me with a collection like Alan or Steppo anytime soon, but I do like them. As a matter of fact, my latest pickup is a Golden Age book. I'm going to show off in my bonus Friday Halloween video. Although I suppose I could give a preview right now, right?
Great. I'll make you big.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is an exclusive.
Exclusive, yeah. So in Friday's video, I got this just happened the other day, and I just really wanted to talk about it because it is sort of horror themed. I'm going to show you a different book, not the one I got, but I recently got like another cool Golden Age book. This Marvel Mystery Comics, 92. This is the last Marvel Mystery Comics in 1949 before they changed titles. They went from the superheroes, which did Human Torch, Submariner, Captain America. You know, they were superheroes are going out of vogue. Horror was big, pre-code horror. So Marvel changed the title, starting with the next issue after this, to Marvel Tales, which we know nowadays is more of a reprint or, you know, they retell stories. But that first volume looked like this. So this is the book I got the other day. This is Marvel Tales number 94. They kept the numbering the same. So 93 was the first Marvel Tales. This is the second, and it is pre-code Atlas. Timely. It was still Timely at this time. Comic. So this is a pre-code Golden Age book, and you can see why this appealed to me. Not only is it a fantastic Bill Everett cover, but the colors, and this doesn't do it justice, guys. The colors of this comic book are unbelievable. The yellow and the red. It's so bright. I was worried in color touch when I first saw it. It was so bright. It's not. It's awesome. It's one blemish down here, a little bit of spine roll, but come on. So there you go. Yes, I collect Golden Age. Not a lot, but when it speaks to you, you got to get it. So there you go.
And a follow-up type question from Lyle out in British Columbia. Does this gentleman collect fanzines?
Yes. Again, I don't go like super out of my way, but when I come across the fanzines, especially the ones late 80s, early 90s when I was first collecting, I love them. Yeah, they're awesome, especially when they're like previewing upcoming titles that I like the X-Men books. I just got one the other day, an Amazing Heroes, where they're talking about Excalibur, and it's with an interview with Alan Davis. So yeah, when I find them, they're awesome. And I found some really cool ones in the past, foreign language fanzines from like Japan with Transformers, like bonker stuff, like really cool, interesting things. Fanzines are awesome. Absolutely, I picked them up. And I would consider Foom fanzine, and I've been into Foom lately too.
Yeah, I don't pick up a lot of fanzines myself, but I did pick up a couple of the monster ones from the 70s and the Buffy the Vampire Slayers ones I saw at a show not too long ago. I was like, it's Buffy. I got to have it.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Yep.
Buffy is my number one. Supergirl is the very number 1A. Although comic-wise, it's 1 and 1A for Supergirl. But, yeah. Okay. One more. We got another one from Madam here. What's the last comic you would let go of or buried with?
That's crazy. Well, I mean, I've told this story in the past. Well, I mean, the easy answer is there's nothing I wouldn't let go of. I mean, honestly, guys, you know, it's as much of a collector as I am, there is a part of me that just knows it's stuff. It's stuff. You can't take it with you, right? So there might be a day where I just go, yeah, it's not as important as living my life. You know, I don't need material possessions. Sure. Someday I'll think that. Right now, no. The one book that has the most sentimental value to me, and I've told this story in the past, is, believe it or not, is Spider-Man 2099 #1. And
yeah, I think you've mentioned that before.
Yeah.
Like you buy that just about every time.
Yeah, I mean, the short answer is I couldn't afford it when I was a kid. I was a poor kid. It was $5 at my LCS, and I didn't have enough money. So I raced home, couldn't find the change, and I went dumpster diving for aluminum cans at the park next to my house. Found enough, traded them at the Redemption Center, rode my bike across like a horrible divided highway to get back to the comic shop, and I bought it with my own money. And I still have it. And it reminds me of just like where I came from, hard work, you know, like I hated asking my parents for money. You die for cans, man. You want a comic book? That's what you do. It was a lot of work for that book.
Yeah, I raked leaves. I delivered papers.
Yeah.
I shoveled walkways. I did everything I could.
You do what you did. And so I like that. And
I had a couple bad habits. I was also into hockey cards back in, and when I was buying hockey cards, that was the early years of Gretzky and Mike Bossy and Kendra. I sold those cards for a good amount of money in the early 90s.
Nice.
So it was helped me pay for some of my school. So I wasn't complaining. Now, one more question here. Mike, when did you realize number of YouTube comic book creators follow you?
I don't know if I ever it was a realization. I mean, the thing is, a lot of the people I feel like that follow me started their channels like after me. A lot of people, ask me like, "Hey, tell me, I want to start a channel. This seems interesting," or I give them the confidence to do it. It's just a guy talking about his collecting journey. So a lot of the people that quote unquote follow me, it's because I'm friends with them, and we just they started a channel because I kind of talked them into it. Maybe. I guess it's never really occurred to me. I mean, right now it kind of does because a lot of people, you guys are mentioning it, but no, I try not to think about it. Honestly, it would freak me out. I've never done anything different, really. I buy more books now is the only difference. I do the same videos. It's the same person. I don't do anything different. And I just get to meet a lot of people. I go to comic shows and get to talk to a lot of people who like the channel. And that's cool. I try not to think about it too much. It's very humbling. It's kind of scary sometimes. I don't like looking at the numbers, but yeah. It's not really a thing. I just keep doing my own thing, and it's just yeah.
And the thing is, what I like about your channel, one of the things that I've liked is your consistency. This is who I am when you began. This is who I am as you continue, and I like that. I like to see the consistency. It shows that you are real passionate and you are really into it. And I love. Yeah, that I said the same thing, didn't I?
Oh, thank you.
But I mean, it in turn makes me excited to see your videos because I like to see passion in whatever people are doing, that they're really behind. They stand behind it.
The only thing that's different is I buy bigger books, and I actually kind of feel bad about it. That's the only thing that makes me feel kind of sheepish. I can get books that I've always wanted, but it's different than Lunch Money Comics. I feel like sometimes it's not in the spirit of it. I still am happy I have it, but I'd be just as content dumpster diving for cans and buying dollar books, guys. I'd have the same amount of enthusiasm, I think. So that's why I kind of feel I don't want people to think that defines me, because it doesn't need to be anything for me to be happy to enjoy comics. So
there's another question in the crowd, but I want to ask one of mine before we get going. Before we get to it. And one of my questions is, recently I was given some very big gifts by a person who watches the channel, friend of the channel, and who has become a friend. My question to you is, you have seemed to have received a lot of AOKs over the years. I see you show a couple of them. Is there any particular one that's your favorite?
Wow. Yeah. And I mean, I always feel awkward too with that. Like, I literally have a pile of stuff behind me I haven't opened yet. And it's very, very, very humbling. People certainly don't have to send me things. People just tell me they enjoy the channel. But I have a couple of things that have blown me away, and I just saw him in the chat, and I see his art behind you, Matt. Yes. Adam from Up and Adam Comics, right?
Yeah.
Right? It's right here. Hold on. There we go. There it is. Yeah, come on.
That was fantastic. He actually told me when he was sending that to you, and I was like, I said before he had a chance, I said, it's going to be Nightcrawler, isn't it? And he's like, yep.
The best part was when he told me that he made the tail flesh colored at first, and then he's like, no, we can't do that at all. So, yeah, so there you go. That's definitely one of the most special things I've ever received. So that's up there right now. And yeah. Thanks, Adam.
So this was my favorite I'm sure that everybody out there knows, Action 252. Wanted it forever. Robbie was very nice. There's a couple other ones he gave me that I will treasure forever. That's great. Oh, Adam's here, and he says, love you, Mike.
By the way, I'm going to give a cheap plug to Adam here. We're actually doing the Marvel RPG with a whole bunch of guys in the community. Yep. Where we started doing it. Yeah, so we're going to be doing those Wednesdays like once a month. So definitely check those out. They're really fun.
I'm going to make sure Adam reminds me when the next one is, because I enjoyed that the other night.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lot of fun to watch.
It was a lot of fun, yeah.
Your names were ridiculous, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Especially yours, Doctor.
I was like the most straight character, I feel like. Everyone else was like, let's do the craziest thing ever. I feel like I got to mix.
It always seems to be that way.
Yeah.
Well, the next question from the crowd is, what comic have you passed on and regretted it?
Yeah, there's been a whole bunch of those. I I've actually traded books that I've regretted and remedied that situation. I traded a TMNT #1 for a book, and I regretted it immediately. I got a better copy, so that's cool. But I've had regrets like that. Not buying, there's a lot. There's so many I can't even remember the big ones in my head right now. But there's been quite a few where I wanted it, I should have got it, and I was looking at the footage afterwards, like, why didn't I buy it? And then you go back, and it's gone. Little things here and there, especially when it happens like in the moment. It's where it's like, I remember I was at a comic show and a buddy of mine had a really cheap first Rhino, which I now have. Really nice copy. He's like, oh, I'll give you a crazy good deal on it. I'm like, all right, cool. And I left for no reason. And I was the whole time I'm looking at, I could see it on his wall. I'm like talking to someone. I'm like, I should get that. And then as I'm talking to someone, I see someone else walk over, look at it, and then pay him and walk away. I was like, why didn't I just grab it while I was there? I've done that. Like, I want to do one more loop. And then you come back and it's gone. Oh, I remember one earlier this year. There's a really cool Plastic Man. One of the best Golden Age Plastic Man covers I've ever seen. Crazy good deal on it. I wanted it. Walked away. I'm like, I'll come back. Came back 15 minutes later. It was gone.
Yeah, Alan has a really good collection of Plastic Man covers. He showed me most of them the last time I was at.
That's what I'm looking for. Because then I thought I'd appeal to everyone on the YouTube and be like, hey, let me know, guys. A few people showed me like a couple copies, but like, I can never find that copy. It's a ghost. So that one, yeah, that's my regret of this year only. It kills me. I left that book behind.
Up and Adam, Mike has already answered this question earlier in the broadcast. So I'm going to recommend you go back and watch the rerun for the answer to this one. Okay. Adam was a little late. Adam was a little late. Okay. So hi, Big Nasty. Good to see you here. So let's get to the point. There's no more questions there. Let's have Mike show us a couple things that he's proud of and would like to show us tonight.
Sure. Well, I showed you that first one. I definitely showed you this one I put aside. Actually, because I just mentioned it. Let me grab it. Hold on. Mm-hmm. I'm unprepared here.
You're about as organized as I am. So
yeah, sorry. It's a mess down here. So yeah, this is one I was just talking about since it's on right on my mind. So yeah, I traded my first third print TMNT #1, and that one actually had a kind of a special place in my heart because I found it at an antique shop. The first one, right? Nice. I got it for like $100, like crazy good deal. Buddy of mine, big into TMNT, and TMNT was published 2 towns away from me. That's where Mirage Studios was in Northampton, Massachusetts. All of this stuff is from.
I got to meet Kevin Eastman. He came to Ottawa 4 or 5 years ago.
All those guys still live out here, like in Western Mass. So like we find a lot of early TMNT out here all the time. So anyways, I traded that one, not thinking it was that big of a deal, but then I got more into the local aspect, the history of it, more than because like I wasn't a big TMNT kid. That was sort of like my younger cousins, right? But from a comic book standpoint, I love them, and I immediately regretted trading that to my friend. So I started looking for a new one. The good thing is, I found this one at a local shop here in Massachusetts, and not only is this one signed, there we go,
which I can see. Yes, it's very
Eastman
nice.
And Laird, right, with the remark, but it's also signed on the inside, which I didn't realize when I bought it. I didn't know till I got home. It's also signed on the inside, which is what they did commonly. That's what most guys did. Inside cover, first page. That same person, the shop I got it from, went back and wanted it on the front. So it's actually double signed by both Eastman and Laird. And Laird just doesn't really do shows anymore. You can still find Eastman, but like you can't find Laird. So yeah,
they tried. I remember Kevin said they tried to get Laird to come with them, and they didn't pony up the money. So he said, "Forget it."
Yeah, and I know he's gone to some shows, and I know his mobility is not as good as it used to be, and he's gone to some shows and just couldn't make it down to the floor, or things came up. So like, yeah, I'm not holding my breath to meet Laird, but hey, this is a really cool book, and I think it's a definitely suitable replacement and a much higher grade copy than the antique shop comic that I found. So
yes,
yeah. So this is very cool.
That's beautiful looking.
Yeah, it's a nice copy. Let's see what else you guys want to see. I have all my Halloween books still behind me.
Very cool.
I can grab that Dead Man if you want to see it. We talked about it.
I'd love to see it. I love Dead Man.
There we go. Actually, we'll grab this one too. Why not? I know a lot of your viewers here like the bigger books, so we might as well grab a couple of the spooky books. We were just talking about Justice League Dark. I like that we built our own segues in here, Matt. Mm-hmm. There you go. So this is probably my first, I don't say big DC book that I got.
If that's
right
the
here.
first one, that's a Carmen Infantino cover.
It is. It's the only Carmen Infantino one. Right after this, they went to Neil Adams, right? So,
Exactly. Yeah.
but as much as I don't love Carmen Infantino, it's one of his best covers. It's great. What I love about this cover, Trey dress is awesome. Dead man looks cool, but it's the color of the background. You just don't see this. I don't know what you'd call that, like
olive. I would call it olive myself.
Olive brown, but it's so cool looking in contrast to the red suit. I love how this book looks. It's so neat, and I've always liked it. So this is one of my favorite DC books I own. I would Pea Soup, exactly, JX. So I would love I think there's an issue with one of the staples. I've been looking for an upgrade. I mean, it's a great presenting copy, but I'm sort of in the market for an upgrade of this book. But
well, that actually can be found for pretty cheap in a lot of cases. By cheap, I mean $100.
Right, it's definitely come down since I got this. Yeah,
exactly.
It looks like a $300 book I think when I bought it. So, but yeah, it's I love the character. I love this book. Yeah, it's one of those ones. You guys know when you ever get a book, you have a whole bunch of books behind you. You look at them every day, but like this is one of those ones I stop every once in a while. I'm like, man, this is a cool book. Like, it's just And this is one I got recently. Come on.
Beauty.
And it's a nice copy. Yeah,
that is a beautiful copy.
It is. So House Secrets 92. There's some spine ticks on it, but I mean, it's a wicked nice presenting copy. First Swamp Thing. For my money, listen, this is I think my favorite cover of the Bronze Age. It's certainly up there. One of the best comic covers of all time. Everyone knows this is Louise Simonson.
Yeah.
Great. However, if you're a Swamp Thing fan, I still think Swamp Thing #1. It's the actual, Alec Holland Swamp Thing is the more relevant book because it's the Swamp Thing we all know. But if this cover was good as it is, it wouldn't be the book it is. You get this because of the cover. The claim of this first Swamp Thing is an afterthought. You get it for the cover.
Oh yeah, it's just definitely. Awesome. And it's absolutely brilliant because she's sitting there doing her hair, and either she sees it in the mirror or she just feels the presence. You can't tell because you can't really see if there's a mirror there or not. At least where I'm not.
Yeah,
I just love the fact that cover leads to so many questions. What's going on? What's doing it? It's brilliant.
And there's just something about the rights and cover. It's hard to see here, but I think everyone knows how it's grainy, right? It has a stippling to it. If that's not the right word, but that graininess makes it feel like a 70s grainy horror flick, right? Like a grindhouse horror flick. It's just something about it, even though it takes place in 1900 or something like that. There's something about it that's super 1970s horror that it's perfect. It's a perfect comic cover.
I just can't get over I remember seeing that as the first time years and years and years ago saying, why didn't I get this book? And I remember in the 80s, I could have probably had that for $25 Canadian.
Right.
I really wish I had realized what the significance of a book. You want to talk about things that you pass on, you don't have a chance, right? All these books that were,
cheaper
way back when, because $25 would have been a lot for me back then.
Right. Oh yeah.
It was. I'm a dollar bin diver for a reason.
Right. It was Alex the Comic Hoarder was one of the first YouTubers I started watching, and he was one of the first ones that reached out to me when I started my channel. And I got a lot of inspiration from him. And it was funny. I had talked to him quite a bit. I'd come across a $100 book, and I'd be like, "Oh, I don't think I can spend $100." He's like, "Mike, if you keep doing this, he's like, money's gonna change how you think of it in terms of books." And he's absolutely right. I wouldn't bat an eyelash now for $100 for a comic book.
I remember that when I bought my copy of DC Comics Presents 47, I paid $100, and when the conversion was done, it was about $180 Canadian. I don't remember the exact price because I have the credit card receipt, so that's why I remember. And thinking to myself, how the hell did I spend that on one book?
Right. And you kind of kick yourself and you're like, I can't believe I do that. But now I'm like,
no, I was doing that. One, I was collecting the run, and two, it's the first comic He-Man. I had to have it.
Right.
So
there you go. Great. You know why else I like this book too? It's because it's one of the ones that's universally beloved. There's a lot of books that everyone's like, oh, it's a great cover, but not everyone thinks it's a great cover. I've never met anyone ever who told me this book isn't an awesome cover or that doesn't want this book. Everybody, even Marvel fans, are like, oh, I'd add that to my collection. heartbeat. That's why I love this book. Like, there's no really question out there about like whether this is a cool book to have. Everyone's like, oh yeah, no, I want that book. So it's a great one. I had to have it.
Very cool. Mike, I really appreciate that you came to join us tonight. I had an absolute blast.
Oh, thank you so much.
I as I said, I've been a long time watcher of your channel, so from a watching point of view, I get an idea what you're into and all that sort of stuff. Plus, I've heard what other people have talked about with you. You know, like, oh, Mike's this and Mike's that. Mike did this. You know, so I did get things like that, and I'm glad to see that I was able to get you on and we could talk about some of the questions I did have. And I really appreciate. I'm sorry, Man Cave. Hi, how are you, Doc? Before we go, I just want to mention for those out there, at the beginning of the show, I was at 715 subs, so we're only 85 away from the giveaway. And hopefully we'll get there reasonably soon. As I said, I'd like to get it out before Christmas. And the other thing I wanted to say before we went was, oh, geez, now I'm blanking on it. I made a note. Let me.
It's Go Blue Jays, isn't it? It should be Go Blue Jays.
Yes. Go Blue Jays. Let's go with the Blue Jays. Well, they we got two. That's part of why I'm a little off today, because
I stayed up. I'm tired.
I made it to the 15th. I appreciate everybody that came tonight. If you're watching this on the rerun, make sure you catch Mike's video that's coming out this Friday, which is Halloween. So, because he's putting out that extra video today. Mike, you're frozen. You all right?
Oh, breaking up.
Well, thank you very much, everybody that showed up. Another 18 innings. Sure, Lyle. That's all they've got left if they don't win. Anyway, thanks for coming tonight. If you're watching on the rerun, thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoy yourselves. My name is next week. That's what I was going to say. Next week, my guest is the big, awesome Lyle Hobson from British Columbia, who has bought a lot more boxes that he has stuff to show us from. Thank you, everybody, for coming. My name is Matt. I like comics, and I hope you do too. Thanks, everybody. Good night.